Hi everyone, Graham here from Evan Central Christmas Lights. Thought I'd record my behind the scenes video before I start taking everything down. Please excuse my voice, I'm getting over a bit of man flu just after Christmas. So for regular viewers of this channel and my display, probably noticing a few differences already. Probably one of the obvious ones is the lawn is looking a little bare this year. So I was running a fair bit behind this year and had a few technical challenges to try and overcome. So I did away with not putting out the arches and the mini trees and the candy canes and some Coro stars. So basically the only thing that's out on the lawn is what you see now, the Merry Christmas lights, the Merry Christmas sign, the P10 panel, which is now moved over to in front of the bedroom window, and the mega tree, of course. But there are some new additions this year, those being the gutter matrix. So all on the gutters has now been replaced. So what was the same as the roof outline, which was just a single 2-inch spacing in chroma trim from Boscaio / Extreme Lighting Displays here in Australia, has been replaced with 6 pixel high matrix panels, which means it gives a lot more density to the gutters and means I can scroll text along there as well, which is kind of cool. Possibly in the future I might do the interactive thing where you can text your name to a mobile number and then you'll see your name up on lights on the display. Maybe in the future, we'll see how we go. So that is one upgrade for this year. The second upgrade is the garage matrix here, which is been something I wanted to do for a little while and have now finally got around to doing it. It was quite late getting out into the display. I think it was only lit up for about 5 days before Christmas, but nonetheless it was finished, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. So like the majority of the rest of the display, particularly like these matrix column panels and things like that, and all the roof outlines, a lot of it is 2-inch spacing. I didn't want to go any denser, otherwise I think this would have just blown everything else out of the water as far as brightness and things. I think it just would have looked too dense. And 3-inch probably would have looked a bit out of place given everything else around it is at 2-inch as well. So some quick specs around this prop in particular. So as you can kind of see, it's mounted to those temporary fencing panels which I purchased from Bunnings, then just sitting them into the brackets on the ground and also up the top, which means these whole things can just swivel out of the way and we've still got access to the garage when we need to. I've just put on some little bolt latches and they just naturally sit into the little gap in the concrete that sort of holds it down at the bottom, and then just an hockey strap just to hold the tops together so they don't wobble around too much if there is any wind. Not that it really gets a lot being up close to the garage door. This is 2-inch spacing, as I mentioned. This is a chroma mesh, so it's 3 panels. You can kind of tell there's the bottom of one panel there, so there's one on the left, one on the right, and then the third panel is literally just cut in half and put on the bottoms of each panel fence panel, and that pretty much covers the exact dimensions of the gate itself. It's a little bigger, but I just made it so that it overlaps on this side a little bit and it doesn't on this side. Yes, there's a little bit of a gap there. I could have possibly made that a little tighter, but I'm really not too fussed. The issue would have been in order to get these mounts in the right place, if I'd have put this around the corner on the inside of that brick there, similar to how it's actually set up on this side. I'll just quickly show you over here. So this side is actually on the inside, you'll notice. If I'd put them both on the inside, then the gates would have actually have touched and they probably wouldn't have fit in here properly. Likewise, if I put them both on the outside like this one, the gap on the middle would have been too large and would have had to have potentially done some sort of extra rigging to hold up the panels. So this was a compromise, pushed in on one side but out on the other, and this is the result. Again, when you sort of see it lit up at night time, and I'll overlay some video now just to sort of quickly show you what that looks like. Yes, you can tell that there's a gap in the middle there, but to be perfectly honest, I don't think anyone really cares about it. I'm not too fussed about it, so I guess that's the main thing. So what is driving these things? You probably could see, if you're wondering, can you see all the cables and stuff during the day? Yes, you can, but at night time, once it gets dark and once there's 3,500 pixels all lit up in front of you, you do not see the cabling at all, so it's no real issue. Yeah, but inside these controllers, actually I might just go around and show you what those look like now. So here's what it looks like from the back. It's kind of the same as the front really, it's just a whole bunch of black and a whole bunch of wires. But the control boxes themselves, much like most control boxes that I use, these are just Kmart storage tubs. These ones I purposely painted black, however, because I knew that they'd probably stick out, the colours of the black of the mesh itself, the black of our roller door. I didn't want them to stand out too much and draw too much attention to it, so spray painted it black, but it also helps to hide some of the LED lights that are inside the control box itself as well, just to stop with that. But this control box has on the bottom layer underneath the old kitchen chopping boards that have been cut up, you can just see them poking out at the top there, and down at the bottom they're two Meanwell LRS 350 5-volt power supplies. I use them predominantly through the display. I do have a couple still of the Ray Wu 5-volt power supplies, but yeah, most of the newer ones that I buy have been the Meanwell ones. And they are powering, it's probably a bit overkill because this entire section, so this entire half, so one gate, is 4 ports of 432 pixels. So each one of these 4 outputs is controlling 432 pixels, and that is repeated again over on the other side with that half. Those two are joined by these expansion or extension. There you go, it's a expander. So I'm using one of these to put another 4 ports over onto the other side, just with a Cat6 cable. So yeah, four ports get powered out of here. I'm power injecting twice. Well, sorry, I've got 2 power injector leads out of the box that are going to 2 different points. So each port is being power injected 4 times effectively. So there's power out at the start of the string at 100, 200, 300 and 400 nodes. These are 5-volt nodes, just like the rest of the display, and this is at 40% brightness, and even at full white at that 40% brightness, there's no yellowing whatsoever. So yeah, this is Allen's HE123 board, being powered from a BeagleBone. I think that's actually a BeagleBone green, if I'm not mistaken, or the BeagleBone black. These fuse boards are probably the most common ones that I use in most of my controller boxes. I just find them quite easy to put in both positive and negative wiring into the top, and then get split out down the bottom for the power injection leads. Getting these from DA Share, which is David Duffy from Queensland, ECCL member. I also get fans and these fan vents or enclosure vents as well from him. So all my control boxes pretty much have this kind of setup where there's just a passive input to, which is just a conduit elbow that's just glued in place with some mesh over it to try and keep some of the bigger bugs out, and then a 5-volt fan and pushing or pulling the hot air out. The fans are just constantly powered, so as soon as power to the power supplies is switched on, the fans start up as well. So yeah, that's what the control boxes look like. So that's one of the new additions for this year. The second new addition is the gutter matrix. Now it's pretty much the same material as what these previous column matrix is made up of. The heights or the widths, depending on which way you're looking at it, do vary. So these are obviously in heights of 4, which I've put 3 together, but they're also available in 6, and you can actually get other custom sizes available, as Troy told me. He can do other sizes if you need to, but yeah, so I've opted for 6 because I figure 6 pixels should give you a bit of definition as far as putting some basic text to scroll across, and obviously shows up some patterns really nice as well. Hopefully I'll smart enough to overlay some video footage of some text looking what it looks like scrolling across here. I think I did a bluey sequence and also did one with my daughter's birthday on Christmas Day as well. Submodeling is good for these, so I could actually submodel the top and bottom rows as horizontal lines. So that means that a lot of imported sequences that you do for X-Lights will have those submodels on them, and it just means that you can have some extra effects running along rather than having to light up all 6 pixels at a time. Sometimes less is more. But as far as how these are mounted, hopefully there's not too much sun glare, but I'll try and get a shot of what these gutter clips kind of look like. I'm looking into a bright screen, so I can't actually tell if you saw that or not, but I'll try and get a close-up photo of it and put that in. But essentially they clip onto, see if I can get a shot of it in here. So they clip onto conduit saddles. The whole frame is made up of just 25mm electrical conduit, and then glue that together, and then it's just cable tied to the matrix panels themselves. The nodes themselves are square nodes, they're all 5-volt, and I've power injected, I think it's 2 times in each one, maybe once, I can't remember actually now. But it gets powered from the start of each section, so each section is individual of each other. We've just butt them up beside each other, and then to the audience it doesn't really look any different. But yeah, there's power coming in at the start and data obviously, and then there's a power injection sort of towards the middle, and then at the very end is just data that goes out to the next section. I've got each section, I don't carry the positive power lead to each section because I do power these across different power supplies. So yeah, I guess if we get into that, so down here beside the house where I've had a dedicated circuit put in for outside, so underneath here there's some power supplies and a controller extension. So that controller and power supplies power to pretty much the right hand side of the roof and gutters. So if I just jump back for a minute, so that star, and then sort of the top and right half of the garage, the roof outline, the first few sections of guttering to the right, and that right column is all powered from those power supplies to the right. The garage matrix here is powered by power supplies that are contained within this controller box that's hidden behind there. This controller box is powering the left hand side of the garage matrix. So then behind here a couple more power supply enclosures, both 5-volt. These are powering the likes of this column here, some of these gutters sections here, and also the Merry Christmas letters. They're also powering the stars that are at the front door. And also this column as well. So those power supplies powering a bit. Underneath here is the main control box, and with the power of editing, when I snap my fingers, then you'll reveal what's under here. So this is the main show controller. It's a Falcon F16 V3. I'm only using a few of the local ports here. There's still plenty of ports that are available that I could use, but I put a lot of them out onto receivers which are throughout the yard. So actually, yeah, 2 go off to the right and 1 goes off to the left, that's right. I use a lot of these Genio power timers, which can all be remotely controlled from my phone. So even if I'm not at home, I can still power things down. If things are getting a bit hairy as far as the weather is concerned, I can power them down remotely. Otherwise, they're just set to a schedule every night. The P10 panel has been here for many years, and still just turn it on and it starts working. No real issues with it. It's actually on a really early version of FPP. I think it's on version 1.5 or 1.6, something like that. It's really old, but if it ain't broke, I'm not going to fix it, so that shall stay as it is. I obviously used to have this over in front of the garage, but now that I've got the garage matrix, this needed a new home, so here's kind of where I decided it should go for now. The Mega Tree is back again. Quite straightforward, just to plug and play that one. Having the winch on the back is super helpful for needing to do any repairs if required, which I had to replace one pixel which decided to stop working about 3/4 of the way up the strand, so don't need to get a ladder out, I don't need to pull the whole thing down out of the ground like I used to. Just winch it down so it's at a workable height, replace your pixel and put it back up again. I have dropped it a couple of times when it's been really windy, yeah, it's just meant that it's, rather than being a giant wind sail, I can pull it down so that it's less of a safety risk for anyone. The construction of that is, that pole I think is about 4 meters in total length, maybe just a touch more, and the pole goes minimum of 500 into the ground. That was concreted in many years ago, so you just put the topper on, put the winch on, put the pole in the ground, and then start attaching all your lights and then winch it up. It makes it a very easy one-person job to put up and take down the tree. The spinners are probably some of the oldest props that I've got in my display. These are 12 volt pieces of strip. This left one here decided to stop working a couple of days before Christmas, so I think they're on their last legs now, and to be honest, you don't really see them all that well when you're sort of back looking at the entire display, because once the Mega Tree is actually, you know, lighting up and doing lots of effects and things, they actually don't cut through as much, so I'm thinking of getting rid of those. I think that's about it. If I was smart enough, I've overlaid a bit of extra information that I haven't talked about, so you can at least read bits and pieces that I might not have spoken about. But if you have any questions at all, feel free to add them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.